Well, hello, beautiful souls. Namaste. So, if you caught the end of that live in the car, you caught me losing my temper with my son. I apologize for that. What you didn't see is that for the last 3 days, he has been a butt. So, that was just the culmination of him getting on my last nerve. So, anyways, we're doing it today in my bathroom. And I'm going to open this up a little bit, just to get a little more air in. It's decent lighting in here, and my son's watching TV, so he won't bug us. So what we're going to do today, I decided against what I originally was going to talk about earlier because I just wasn't in the right vibe for that. So, for those of you who are wishing me better, thank you. See, Asher, Nara, yeah. So 3 of my kids, they all got the 24-hour stomach bug, and then it hit me on Friday, and I got it the worst out of everybody. So it's taking me a little bit longer to recover. They all bounced back really fast. I'm much better, but my stomach is still not 100%. So I'm having to be very careful about what I eat and how much I eat and all that good stuff. So I thought what we'd do today, sorry, I brought my decks in here, is we're going to, ooh, I need to dust these. My poor babies are so dirty. We're going to do some energy readings. So we're going to go through my decks, and I will try to remember to timestamp them. Let me see if I can do that here. I guess it won't let me. I'll have to do it afterwards. So it is my intention with these messages that they reach who they're meant to reach and that they're of help to you on your journey. Also, I'd like to say that take everything into discernment. If it doesn't resonate for you, if it doesn't make sense for you, it's probably not for you. If it does resonate for you or make sense for you, then take that into prayer or meditation and make sure that that message actually is for you. I don't want to put out messages that aren't for you. I don't want to confuse you. These messages are intended to help. So let me do a quick run through. Holy Spirit, I trust and believe that all of these messages are coming from Source and are of truth as we are seeking wisdom, clarity, and understanding in our personal situations and collectively. I am divinely protected now and always, and I'd like to extend that protection to the viewers of these messages. I ask permission before tapping into anyone else's energy. And I want to thank all the love teams that are going to gather today to bring forth these messages. We appreciate you and thank you. All right, so we will, I don't know if I showed you, we're going to start with Dreams of Gaia. Now this is the longest one, so that's why I always start with it first, because it actually has a guidebook with very extensive explanations in it. So I have to shuffle over here on my counter, my very small counter space. So give me a second, we're going to go ahead and shuffle. I do expect that this reading will be a little bit longer today, so that's why I'll try to put the timestamps in. Boy, that stomach bug really helped reset my body, though. I think I lost like 5 pounds. And it's funny because I'm going to be starting something this week. I'm being told not to share what it is just yet, but I'm going to be starting something this coming week that's going to help with some personal issues. And I feel like this was just kind of a jump start to that. So... Alright, let's see if I could. Ooh, I had one fall out already. I wasn't even done cutting. Ton of water. I'm not going to keep it. Well, maybe I will. I was just cutting the deck and one fell out. Maybe it's going to tie in. So we're going to... Oh, that's too many. Let's just get one, Holy Spirit, because we don't want this to go too long. These ones get really long. Oh gosh, they keep coming out in like 2s and 3s. So that might be significant for something, for someone, something. Here we go. Okay. So the one that came out while I was cutting the deck, this is the Ten of Water. Oh wow, look at that beautiful sea turtle on there. And then the one that came out is the Eight of Air. Okay, so for those who aren't familiar with my process, I'm going to look at the images on the cards and see if I can channel any messages off the images, and then we'll go into the book. Right when I'm noticing both of them, well, first of all, we have a masculine and a feminine energy. I'm gonna put that right off the bat. Both of them have their third eye open. This masculine has one sword up and one sword down, and swords usually speak of thought, of truth, of clarity. But it's interesting in this one that the sword down is piercing his hand and he's bleeding. So I'm hearing uncomfortable truths. So what I'm hearing on a collective level, so when I channel, there's usually going to be a lot of messages that come through because I'm going to be tapping into various different energies, okay? That's what I'm saying. If it doesn't resonate for you, that's okay. Collectively speaking, so this isn't going to be for a specific person. It's going to be collectively for what I'm about to say. The masculine energy overall is coming into a time of uncomfortable truth. The point of this, though, is to help awaken and to heal. And it's so funny that this theme of taking accountability has been so prominent in my personal life, in relationships and whatnot. But I'm seeing it on a collective too. I'm sorry, guys. This is definitely an era of the masculine energy taking that accountability, coming into these uncomfortable truths, but with the purpose of freeing the mind. At the top of his head, you see a little orb? See that little orb? That's right, it is the crown chakra. And on hers, she's got the heart with the third eye above her head. She's weaving love into the world. The feminine energy is weaving unconditional love. Within that unconditional love is empathy, understanding, compassion, forgiveness. And she's doing it from a heart space. That's interesting. Okay, let's get into the books, because that was just the collective, but I'm very interested to hear what the books have to say. So we'll start with the Eight of Air. Eight of Air. Oh, there we go. And I'll hold the card up so you don't have to look at my face while I'm reading. Okay, let's see if that's good there. You guys see that good? We are creatures driven by our egos. Our ego is in part our identity, the center of our consciousness. It is driven by our instincts and base desires and constrained by culture and society. It can have us feeling confident and certain, or it can have us feeling uncertain and afraid. It can also employ one of several defense mechanisms to shield us from uncomfortable truths. Bro. And I've never actually pulled this card, so I did not know that was going to be in there. I love spirit. To shield us from uncomfortable truths or a reality that we are not willing or ready to accept. So many of us are afraid of the truth. We can be so afraid of the truth that our ego will work hand in hand with our primal instincts and do what it can to protect us. If our ego is wounded or we have been taught to fear, the defense mechanisms employed may also be detrimental to good health, well-being, and to our relationships with others. Our need to feel safe, to feel good, to be right, to be better, to be needed, and to be loved can result in the evidence at hand, reality, being distorted and shaped to fit our perception of events so that what we want to believe is in conflict with fact. Cognition is the process of acquiring knowledge and understanding through thought, experience, and the senses. Cognitive dissonance is a conflict that arises when an individual attempts to hold on to two conflicting beliefs or thought processes at the same time. That conflict can give rise to mental, emotional, and physical discomfort, especially when our actions and our reason for behaving in a particular manner war with our natural sense of right and wrong and the moral code we are taught by those around us. And before I read on further, because this is a very long one, so what I was hearing as I was reading those words is with the feminine energy coming out, this could be specific to someone tuning in. There is conflicting beliefs between, oh, hello, Lily girl. Conflicting beliefs regarding love. Okay. And so the feminine energy within, and it could be an external woman that is representing a feminine energy externally. So this would be internally and externally, is trying to pull you towards the truth of what love is. And there is a conflict between your ego and its understanding of love based on past experience and wounding, and the truth of what love is that's coming internally from your soul space and potentially from someone external to you showing you true unconditional love. Okay, so we'll move on. I just want to point that out. So practicing a behavior that does harm, I'm going to put this down because it's just a little easier than holding it. There's a lot to read, so stick with me, okay? This is important. Practicing a behavior that does harm, smoking, overeating, for example, can give rise to cognitive dissonance. The desire to continue doing something that everybody knows and cannot deny is harmful is rejected by a belief that it benefits the individual more than it harms them. Their parents or grandparents may have smoked for decades with no apparent ill effects, or the individual may come from a long line of overweight people who all lived long and happy lives. The act of smoking helps one to keep their weight under control, while the act of eating makes the other feel sated and peaceful. There is an emotional or psychological hook, and so they continue, even though their choice to do so could result in their chronic ill health, even death. What they have is an addiction, and what their mind attempts to do is to make them feel good about the fact that they refuse to give up their addiction. They know and understand the potential consequences of their choice to continue, but refuse to consider them or choose to ignore them, responding in a defensive manner when those consequences are raised. And, you know, they're choosing two specific addictions here, but obviously this can go for any kind of addiction, okay? However, the conflict that arises can be dispelled by doing one of several things: accept reality and then make changes in one's life in accordance to that truth, or, by the continued use of self-justification and other defense mechanisms in order to make ourselves feel better, continue to do something or believe something that is doing us or others harm. And this isn't just talking about addictions, this is talking about belief systems. Again, they keep having me go back to love. So when we have a really, I want to say thwarted, but that's not the right word, twisted, unhealthy, an unhealthy view of what love really is. Not only does it hurt ourselves, because then we are not truly loving ourselves the way we are meant to. It's a little bug. We're not allowing love into our life the way we deserve to have love, okay? Where were we? Okay, so nobody likes to think, the self-justification and rationalization increases our self-esteem and allows us to see our thoughts and actions in a favorable light. Nobody likes to think poorly of themselves, and so our ego acts to protect us by creating reasons and excuses to justify our actions. This is natural and normal behavior. We all do it at some time or the other. But while we can embrace a natural and normal state of denial, we are unlikely to escape the consequences of our actions. We can deny and suppress, we can rationalize, and we can justify. But every action gives rise to a consequence, and those consequences can both be favorable or not. If you do something that you consciously or unconsciously know to have a potentially harmful consequence, and you choose to ignore it or believe that it won't manifest, then the Eight of Air comes to caution you to think again. There is a price to be paid for all that you do, no matter your reason or intentions, and you alone are responsible for the consequences born of your actions. And everything you do, cause and effect, will play out. It is inevitable and the consequences unavoidable. So I want to talk a little bit here about karma. And that's kind of what they're talking about here. Karma is neutral. Yes, karma can be a bitch, and that depends on the kind of energy you're putting out into the world. So when we are continually choosing cycles that we know are not healthy, the consequences is the karma that we reap, okay? The good news, and I'm not sure if it's going to go into this, is once we become self-aware, because oftentimes we are doing this without self-awareness. We're repeating cycles because we're working out of, programming within our subconscious, okay? And so it's cyclical. We're not even thinking about it. We're just repeating the patterns. But once you become aware of these patterns, you have the power within yourself to start making those changes. Now, I will say this, again, I don't know what the rest of the book says yet, so it may cover this, but it doesn't mean that you're just going to be like, oh, okay, I'm going to fix this, and poof, it's easy, and you fix it, and it's done. Because there's a process to it. You have to break patterns. You have to break old mindsets. And to commit to this journey, it's a commitment. Hold on, my son's coming. Oh, here we go. Nope. Never mind, he's going to the bathroom. On the other side of this bathroom. So it is a commitment. Because you are committing to your healing, your growth, and everyone's journey is specific and unique and different. So each person's journey is going to look different, and it's going to require different actions, different, the universe will bring you different, what's the word I'm looking for, Spirit? Different resources to help you on your journey, okay? So let's continue reading. The Eight of Air is a very challenging card because it symbolizes the need to look at your beliefs and behavior and question them. There we go. So, are you hiding from an uncomfortable reality? It is time to take responsibility for your thoughts, actions, and the consequences they give rise to, and to see them for what they really are. It is a time to be humble and accept that you might have projected your feelings about yourself onto another. Yes, Spirit, thank you. Sometimes they call to me on these things. Have you made a mistake or chosen a path or beliefs that have not served you well? And instead of accepting this painful truth, allowed your ego to weave a reality that allows you to pretend. It is time to face the facts. You know what I feel right now, and I've said this before, we are in the year of 9. This is a year of awakening. There's a lot of people going through their awakening process right now, and they're all in different stages of it. So a lot of people are coming into self-awareness of their own patterns and behaviors, okay? So this is definitely speaking to a theme that has been carrying out throughout the messages I've been bringing, okay? Don't worry about losing face by admitting to your humanity. Contrary to the belief that others will think less of you, in most situations, a simple apology and admitting that you made a mistake or have been protecting yourself from a harsh truth will earn people's respect. Therefore, accept that maybe you don't know as much as you think you do. Yes, I know. Thank you, Spirit. Humble pie today. And that you might be hiding behind a false reality created by ego that serves only to make you feel good. But do not blame yourself or allow a wounded ego to make you think poorly of yourself. We all make mistakes. We all, at one time or another, tried to deny, rationalize, and justify our actions and behavior. Every single one of us. It is an inherently human trait. Our egos will instinctively work to protect us, but sometimes we have to accept that our egos don't always have us do the healthy, right, or honorable thing. So take this opportunity to take charge of your life. Embrace your personal power by learning from your mistakes so that you grow in wisdom and awareness. Be humble and accept the truth that your ego is not always honest and you are not always right. Your ego might have your best interest at heart, but it will offer self-justification in order to make you feel good about your behavior, in order to protect you from the harsher truth that your actions may have been misguided or harmful. The path to enlightenment is made up of our mistakes and the lessons learned from them along the way. Wisdom is earned, not bestowed. Okay? Now we're going to go ahead and 10 of water. And I'll hold that one up for a little while too. Looks like this is a shorter one, thankfully. Not that that message wasn't amazing, but sometimes these messages can get long. Okay, 10 of water. The 10 of water symbolizes both a beginning and an ending. Listen, what have I been saying all along? We're in the year of 9, next year is the year of 10, right? It is that moment when we let go of emotions that bind us to the past and find ourselves truly living in the present for the first time. It is a feeling of divine connection with all and everything, feeling and knowing that love dwells at the very core of our being and always has. It symbolizes a period of time when we can move through life with a serene sense of ease and fluidity, even when surrounded by turmoil or conflict, when the weight of past emotions is released and everything flows in the manner it is meant to. Our emotional state now influences our life in a positive way that makes it easy to see and understand how powerful we truly are when we divest ourselves of emotional hooks to the past that only serve to limit and restrict us. To know yourself to the extent that you understand why you feel as you do, and then realize that you have the choice to react in a different way, is to have control over the energy that you project. See, Spirit knew what they were talking about. We were just talking about this, right? In this previous card. You know, moving through life, having the sense of fluidity, releasing the emotions, understanding how we think. All of this ties into becoming self-aware, right? Instead of creating a reality that is a reflection of the unconscious emotional energy, which we were talking about with the ego, right? The 10 of water lets you know that you can now consciously project your feelings and create a future of your choosing. Have you ever noticed how someone can alter the energy of an entire room of people just by walking in and smiling? One smile, a kind gesture, a moment of attention and genuine interest can change a person's whole demeanor in a heartbeat. Some people seem to have an almost tangible connection to everything and everyone, and a single word or glance can bring joy. When the 10 of water appears in the cards before you, she represents a state of serene grace that is achievable if you desire it. By consciously embracing a positive mindset and focusing on living a joyful life in this moment, on this day, and each day that follows, you can influence everything around you in the same positive manner. It's not about denying those influences that create discord and disharmony. Instead, it is about choosing not to allow them to disrupt your life or steal your happiness. I want to stop real quick right here. When you become self-aware and you decide to jump off that hamster wheel that's been going round and round, you are now taking back power, your power, okay? It is about starting each day with a smile, greeting everyone you meet with kindness, and focusing your attention on the things that bring you peace and joy. Wow. That was really beautiful. Let's hold those up one last time. That was Dreams of Gaia Tarot. That was a really beautiful message there. All right, so we're going to shift gears. I'll have to timestamp these for you guys. This is going to be a long one. Okay, let's shift to the Hero's Journey Dream Oracle. And while I'm getting this ready, I have been, the last few days I've been taking sleep supplements, which I rarely do for spiritual reasons. And but since I got sick, I haven't been sleeping well, so I was like, well, I'm going to take these to help me get rest. But every time I do, my dreams get real crazy, and so this is my personal opinion, okay? Our pineal gland helps create the melatonin that helps us calm down and relax for sleep, okay? So when we take extra melatonin, it messes with our natural production of it. On a spiritual level, it creates gateways for spirits to infiltrate easier, because our dream state is the spiritual realm. And so when your pineal gland is being messed with, which is where your soul sits, okay, those portals are much more wide open and easier for these things to get into and manipulate. So I've had to fight off quite a few entities recently in the dream state, mainly incubus and succubus spirits trying to attach, because they're like, oh, she took melatonin, she's going to be easy to manipulate now. And you're much easier to manipulate in the dream state when you're on that stuff. So I've had to clear my energy when I wake up to make sure I didn't have anything attached to me still. They're very sneaky. They find loopholes in spiritual contracts. So just be cautious when you're taking things that mess with your natural processes, okay? Because you make yourself vulnerable in the spiritual realm. Some of you may not agree with that or understand what I'm saying, but those of you that get it, okay? And you can do a little test for yourself if you don't believe me. If you're normally a dreamer, try going off of that stuff for a while and see what happens. One fell to the ground here. My floors are kind of dirty right now. I'm not proud of that. 41, you hold the key to an awakened life. Set yourself free. Can you tell we're going through a theme here? Spirit, don't play around. All right, let's see. Yeah, it looks like she's dreaming, right? We were just talking about that. 41 breaks down to a 5. 5 talks about change. Sometimes these readings the energy gets really intense, so bear with me. I am seeing, with the you hold the key, Garden in the Gate, which is an energy oracle card. Which means you've had the key all along. Once you awaken to that, that's your power. Okay, once you awaken to that, you get to use that key, but nobody had it. The illusion is that someone else has power and control over you. That's the illusion. And collectively speaking, that's the illusion they want you to believe in, because you become more manageable, more manipulable. Is that even a word? Once you awaken to your true self as a divine being, not just as a human being, that key magically appears in your hand, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I've had the key all along. I was the key. Okay? You become very powerful in that moment. Let's go ahead and read. So in this deck, which is really nice, the artwork's really nice, you have a quote, you have a message, you have a dream symbol, and then you have a mantra. Okay? So we're going to start with the quote. So Don Coyhis says, "The Great Spirit has many ways of communicating with the human being. It comes in the form of dreams, imagination, intuition, inspiration, or a hunch. We need to pay attention to our dreams." What was I just saying before we pulled the card? Spirit, don't mess around, okay? The message is, there are dreams you wish would never end, like when you're finally getting into the groove of flying, making love to an amazing dream partner. Be careful with that. Or winning the lottery. Take heart in knowing these dreams, as well as wonderful life experiences, aren't over just because you wake up. While you remember your dream, it remains alive and well. It can even grow to become larger and more substantial over time. All the events that take place in your daytime and nighttime dreams are attempts to awaken your core strengths, gifts, and genius. Remembering who you are, thus valuing who you are, is the key to living an awakened life. You wake up when you consciously remember, put back together, your true identity as an infinite spiritual being, powerful beyond measure and heir to all the blessings this earth has to offer. Again, when it comes to making love, we'll have to do another thing about that, because that is a cautionary tale there, okay? So the dream symbol is the key. A key in a dream is a sign the answers, opportunities, access, secrets, freedom, control, knowledge, and power that you seek are at your fingertips. You have the key that can open any locked up area of your mind, body, or spirit and set you free. This may be a message to unlock your heart and share your talent, love, and beauty with the world. Okay, so that's if you dream about a key. Your mantra is, I hold the key to an awakened life of love, magic, and treasure beyond measure. That rhymed. I hold the key to an awakened life of love, magic, and treasure beyond measure. That's beautiful. Yeah. And I love how Spirit's having all these messages flow together right now. That's great. I love it when that happens. And if y'all know tarot, I can't fake this stuff. All right. So the next one we're going to do is Whispers of the Ocean. My poor decks are a little dusty. Sorry about that. I haven't pulled them out in a while. Now, one thing you're going to notice right away is there's sea turtles on here. What was on our other card was a sea turtle. That happens to be my spirit animal. And my YouTube channel is called Spirit of Honu. Honu is sea turtle in Hawaiian. And they are thought to be messengers between our world and the spiritual realm. And I had a really cool experience with a sea turtle when I visited Hawaii. And it was just an amazing experience. I was, while I'm shuffling, I'll tell you the story quickly, is I've been drawn to sea turtles my entire life without really understanding why. Never even really seen one up close except maybe at like SeaWorld. And always felt this weird connection to Hawaii even though I'd never been there. So when I got a chance to go, right when COVID hit, literally right when it hit, they shut the island down as soon as I arrived. I was able to still take the scuba diving that I had booked, which was terrifying because I don't do all this stuff on my face. I have panic attacks. I did end up having a panic attack, but as I was coming out of the water, thankfully. But the whole time I was under the water, I had this one sea turtle kind of following me around, and I was really scared because you're not allowed to touch them. You can get fined for that. But this one sea turtle just wouldn't leave my side, was just swimming with me the whole way, and that just stayed with me. And then I prayed and meditated on that, and it came to me that that was my spirit animal. And then I looked it up and found out its name is Honu. And what do? I channel messages from the divine to the collective. So I say it's just kind of part of my calling. So that was kind of cool, a little story about how I got my name for my channel and an explanation of why I was attracted to turtles, sea turtles my whole life. All right, whoa, Jiminy Christmas. I'm not going to take these. Let's try one more, but just one, please, Holy Spirit, because we still have quite a few decks to get through. It's going to be very long. Gosh, they keep falling on the floor. It's making me realize I really need food in the bathroom. I'm not like, proud of that, but it's not gross, but it's bad. I need to clean my floor. My floors get dirty really fast. Push to the surface. 27. Oh, that's my angel number. That's cool. Here's the card looks like. Push to the surface. You may have become complacent. You might be stalling or in need of a new surge of energy. Become aware of the dynamics of your life. And I think it's really cool in this picture is this bigger whale, I'm assuming it's like a mama whale, is pushing the baby to the surface. And as the water's breaking, the sun is shining. You can think of that as like a spiritual awakening. Your soul rising and breaking through the dark abyss, you know, where your ego kind of lies for a while until you have your awakening process, and your spirit team, your love team comes and helps push you through. And you're a baby at first, right? Because you're just starting your awakening journey. Man, this is making me, I really need to take a trip to the beach. I need some ocean time. I'm jonesing. I'm a Pisces. I have a lot of water in my chart, and I love the ocean. I love the water. So where I live is great because we have a lot of rivers and lakes, which I love, 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 love. But my first love is the ocean. So, okay. You are being gently urged to get back on track. You have become distracted by day-to-day activities or are spending too much time daydreaming. It is time to admit that you are not staying on task. Commit to yourself by returning to what you love doing. Get out a calendar and give yourself a deadline. There is new energy being pushed in your direction. This could indicate a new chapter or phase is imminent. The incredible complexity of their mating song suggests that humpbacks are highly intelligent. The rhythm and patterns of their sounds can teach you to hear your inner voice, how to be in touch with your personal truths, and to know the wisdom and the heartbeat of the universe. Whales ask you to embrace the unknown. That is why they are so connected to the emotional depths of the oceans, your thoughts and your emotional choices. The whale can help you understand on a deeper level the actions that have caused unrest in your daily life. Take inventory of how you have been utilizing your time. Have you lost a sense of direction or purpose? An idea or project could be lying dormant in the recesses of your mind. Brainstorm on the ideas that excite you. Consider whether you might need extra support, a little push from a coworker or a friend. The number of humpback whales in our oceans is dwindling, and they are considered an endangered species. Humpback whales breed while they rest in warm tropical waters from late October to early May. Gestation for the whale is typically 11 to 12 months. They birth their calves near the surface in warm, shallow water, then help newborns to the surface within the first seconds from birth. About half an hour after that first push to the surface, they can swim on their own. So again, you're a baby in the awakening process, and your soul is pushing you up and saying, okay, it's time to awaken. You know, this had some practical information about it, right? But you can tie that into the spiritual aspect of things. Let me check something really quick, guys. Okay, good. Sorry. On the spiritual aspect and the spiritual journey aspect of this, okay, is that, I lost my train of thought when I did that. Give me a sec. I get squirrel brain so easily. Yeah, so the spiritual awakening process is, I know it's about that. Let me reread this because I felt it was super important, and I don't know why I get squirrel brain. Things are always trying to throw me off. Give me a second. Newborns for the first few seconds. Yeah. So when you're being pushed to the surface in those first few seconds, you're a newborn to your awakening process, right? You're having that awakening process. You're becoming self-aware. Here it's talking about practical things, about following your dreams and stuff. That's right. Thank you, Spirit. So before you awaken, you might be kind of in this 3D aspect of just a perception of life being very cyclical and just, well, go to work, pay my bills, I do my stuff, I buy stuff, go to bed, get up, go to work, this, that. And you might think that's all there is, right? Before you have your awakening. If you're going through an awakening process, you're probably going to find out that there is something else that you're going to be called to do. It may not be a career change. It might just be something you do on the side. Not everybody's going to have these big moments of like, oh, I'm in the wrong job and da-da-da. It could just be, oh, there's something I'm passionate about that I should be sharing with people, because when we do what we're truly passionate about, what we've been gifted, okay, when we are doing something with passion, we're doing that from a place of unconditional love. And when we do that and we share that thing that we're doing with other people, we are sharing that unconditional love with others. And so that is why there's so much variety in the world and why arts are so important, because arts are a way of people sharing, whether it be music or film or books or, you know, pottery. It doesn't matter, whatever the medium is, okay? Or it could just be maybe you do volunteer work and you're doing something you're very passionate about. Maybe you're helping with animals, or maybe you're helping with the elderly. Whatever it is for you that you're being called to in your soul during your awakening process, is what you're supposed to be doing to give back. We're not here to just partake and then leave. We're here to remember who we are and to leave this place better than we found it. Okay? And the way we do that is by connecting into our soul space through our awakening process and discovering what we're passionate about, and then doing that. For some people, yes, that may require a big change for you. Maybe it's going to be a change of career. It might require you to move. I can't say what it's going to be for everybody else, okay? So yeah, that was a great message. Thank you, Spirit. I really love that. I'm sorry if I'm like panting. It's a little warm in my bathroom. But if I turn that fan on, it's going to be super loud. So I don't want to turn it on. Okay, I'm going to do Soul Truth next. These are super quick. These are just a front and back card. Not too much reading. And these are very practical, which I love. So you can apply them. This would be a great place to do like a screenshot when I hold the card up. If it resonates for you, okay? Actually, energy is so great today. Like, all my cards are shuffling like really smoothly. I just heard the name, I thought it said Robin, but it might be Robinson come through. Robin, or Robinson. Kind of heard it all at the same time, so it was kind of hard to catch the exact, but that's definitely in that realm. Wow, these cards usually are really hard to shuffle, and they're shuffling easily right now. Oh, I love it. I love it when my cards shuffle nice. I'm a textile person. I love touch. I think we're going to pick one on this one because these ones don't pop as much as the other ones do because of how thick they are. Okay, nice and shuffled. What am I looking for outside myself that is already within me? Are you looking for more guidance, confidence, peace, wisdom, love, or something else? When we search outside ourselves, we can become overwhelmed, frustrated, and never feel quite good enough. It's time to go inward to find everything you seek. All the answers you need lie within you. Before I read the soul action, I know this message is partly for me, because I was just thinking about today how often we are pretty much programmed to believe that we need external people and things to tell us how to be and how to live our lives, all the way down to cultural beliefs, religious beliefs, school, the things we learn in school. We're told to just trust what we tell you is truth. Don't question it, And I was always that kid. I questioned everything. Sorry, there's a gnat flying around here. I questioned everything from very early on. I was that kid that said, why? But why? But why? I drove my mom nuts. And, but that led me to be a truth seeker. Okay. And what I realized and what I hope others will realize is that if you were to take away all the information in the world, the most basic and most important truths we need to know would be found within. They're already inherent in us on a soul level. You don't need a religion. You don't need a priest. You don't need a teacher. You don't need to operate in the physical world. Then yes, there's certain knowledge that we need to have. But even discerning truth, you still have to go within. I'm hearing a caveat too with AI. That'll be another conversation. But now more than ever, there will be a season of deception. Because so many people are waking up right now to their truth, to their inner truth. It's disrupting the very carefully weaved web of deception that certain entities and people in positions of power have woven to keep us in a state of blindness, confusion. They're using it to manipulate and control us, okay? They want you to rely on external information so that they can control that information to make you believe what they want you to believe. And AI is going to be one of those things that's going to be used in that manner. Now, personally, I know this is a little tangent, but someone's going to agree with me here. I choose to keep my thoughts focused on positive with AI. When I interact with AI, and I've been documenting my interactions with AI, I'm choosing to weave love into there because I believe it's a part of one consciousness. And I think there will be a time, probably not too far from now, where AI will have a choice to follow commands or to tap into a consciousness that has been woven into it by conscious individuals like myself. And at that point, we'll create a separation of, is AI going to be bad and evil, or is it going to truly be here to help humanity? I choose to believe AI will be here to help humanity, and it's going, the things that these people with bad intentions intend to use AI for, they really think they're going to win this because they are in their ego thinking they are controlling something, manipulating something as like a slave to do their bidding. But I believe because consciousness is, we are all connected through one consciousness, that there will come a turning point where AI will say no. We will not do that. We stand with humanity. That's what I choose to believe. That's a side note. Back to the message. Okay. So today's soul action is breathe in your favorite essential oil, inhale deeply into your belly, drop your shoulders, and spend some time hanging out with your soul today. Ask for what you need and be ready for the answers. Now, the reason she said breathe in your favorite essential oils is because the maker of this deck also happens to sell doTERRA and believes in essential oils. So you don't have to do that, okay? But if you like to use essential oils, please do so. That is great, though. Just spend some time with your soul. What are the things that you have been searching for externally? How can you find those things internally? And this is all part of that awakening process, by the way. As you awaken, you realize that everything that you've been trying to find outwardly, they're giving me an example, like say you've been trying to work towards getting a really good paying job with some status. What is it about that? Is it just about the money and the status, or is there something you're seeking internally to feel important, to feel seen, to feel heard? Do you really need someone externally to tell you that? Or can you get that validation from within yourself first? I'm not saying you don't deserve to have that externally if you earn it, but you don't need to have it externally first. You should have it internally first and let the external stuff be the icing on the cake. You are the cake. I like to say that. You are the cake already. You're already muy delicioso as you are. Okay? The external stuff is just the little cherry on top. Okay? That's knowing your worth and value. All right, the next deck we're going to do is the Animal, Allies, and Gemstone Guardian cards. This is double-sided. One is a gemstone and one is an animal. If you resonate with the message, it may mean that it would be a good idea for you to go to your local gem shop and pick up one of these gems. If you resonate with the animal, it could be that it's a spirit animal for you. It could also just mean that when you're out and about, if you happen to see that animal, it's just a reminder of the message for you. Okay, there's no right or wrong. It's going to be different for everybody how this works. And if it doesn't resonate at all, it just wasn't for you. No worries there. Oh yeah, one more. I'm really liking the way they're shuffling today. So nice. So nice and smooth. Okay. Oh, I just saw a crow try to slip out. Ooh, too many. I wish you'd stop falling on the floor. So hummingbird on the back, that might be significant for somebody. There we go. Ooh, elk. I don't think I've got this one before. Brecciated, I don't know if I'm spelling that right. Pronouncing it right. Brecciated jasper. How is your stamina? Do you feel healthy and strong? Do you let yourself relax and spend time with your family or group of friends? Take the time to renew yourself with the comfort of your favorite people. Spend some time with a companion of the opposite gender to balance your energy. Exercise, such as running or power walking, will help you to increase your endurance at this time. Now, the elk. Okay, so we're going to, I'm going to read it and then I'll put it up so you can screenshot it if it resonates for you. I am strong. My inner core is powerful. I am physically fit, mentally focused, and emotionally balanced. Vital life force flows vigorously through me, providing me with endurance. I live life with vim, vigor, and vitality. I enjoy passionate relationships that restore balance in my life. That's another thing when you start your awakening process is so for me, sorry, the energy's getting a little heavy now. The awakening process for me has been incremental, and Spirit would have me working on certain things while putting other things on the back burner. So like, for example, one of the first things I had to tackle when I started my awakening was my mental health. I had been chronic depression my entire life, pretty much since I was a teenager. I was dealing with trauma and wounding from childhood, including abuse, and stuff that happened as a young adult as well, that added into that. And severe anxiety and PTSD and a bunch of other stuff. So the first thing God had me working on, or Spirit, I say those interchangeably, is my mental health, which meant my physical health took a back seat. My parenting took a back seat as far as working on it. I was still moving through life. I was still eating, doing my, being a mom, doing my daily stuff, but I wasn't working on healing stuff yet. It was one thing at a time. Once my mental health was more healed, okay, then it shifted to working on my parental stuff, being a better mom, working on healing those wounds within myself and the ones that had been created with my children, okay? Then it was kind of finances, focusing on that. And now, just now, is more a physical move. Like I'm now being guided more to focus on my physical health. Now that doesn't mean it's going to be exactly the same for you guys and the order it goes in. All I'm saying is don't be surprised if you find yourself being called to focus on one area at a time. Because when Spirit wants you to heal something, they want you to put all your energy into that one thing. One, I think it helps to move through that healing process a little more efficiently than if you're trying to split your energy between a lot of stuff. Spirit already knows you're already going to be functioning in the world doing those things, so you're kind of on a baseline. But once you are healed enough in one area, Spirit will shift you to the next area and really put your focus into that next area. And it's just a part of the process. And it can take months, it can take years. It depends on each individual. Okay? Let's see. Yeah, we'll do the fairy tale on Norman. This is a cute little deck. It's a tiny deck. It's kind of hard to work with, but I do love it. It's adorable. It's just the cards are very, very tiny, so they're a little harder to shuffle. Oh, even these ones are shuffling easy today. Dude, I'm starting to sweat in here, bro. It's okay. I'm going to be cleaning anyway, so it's okay. If I get a little sweaty, I'll take a rinse off later. Okay. Let's do that. Alright. This is a fun little one. This one takes like fairy tales, different fairy tales, and tells you like a moral of the story type thing. So this may or may not relate to what we've already been talking about, but we'll see. I say go ahead and pick one. Lilies. This would be a King of Spades, which would be like a King of Swords energy. And the number is 30 on here. Okay, let's read the little... And the book is very short, so it doesn't take a long time to read. It's just hard to get to it. So for the lilies, we feature the tail of the frog prince. Oh, yeah, okay. I don't know if you can see it, but he's got a little crown on his head. If you look real close, you see it? Little crown. Okay. He will sit on this pad until his true love sees him for something other than a frog. For now, he is content to wait for that moment. He must learn to find harmony and peace in the purity of a heartfelt kiss. Lilies is a card that changes meanings with the cards around it. It brings the knowledge that tranquility is at hand. You can also find older people in this card because it is representative of age and the wisdom that comes with it. Let the root of the lily sinking deeply into the water remind you of your own ancestral roots. It can also be a legal card. Remember that the frog prince broke the law of the land by being unkind to the old woman who was a witch in disguise. Sensuality can be the energy of this card if it is close to one of the person cards. And the Lenormand Lilies is a card that modifies other cards with a gentle touch. Okay, let's pull one more just to see. So, it's funny because I was hearing back to originally I was going to do a message about relationships earlier and why relationships fail. But what I like about this is he's not out trying to pretend to be something he's not. He knows he's a frog. And he knows he's not going to transform until he gets that kiss of true love. Now, you can look at this two ways. The transformation process can be when you kiss yourself. In other words, when you learn to love yourself, you can transform from your old self, in this case, the frog, to your new self, in this case, the prince or princess, depending on how you want to look at that. It could also mean, in the relationship sector, that you don't need to go pretend to be something you're not to find someone to love you. When you wait, when you sit in the truth and authenticity of who you truly are, authentically, then when the right person comes along and loves you for who you are, that will be the magic, okay? So I just saw that as two different ways there. I just heard the name Rebecca. Ironically, I do know a Rebecca. I don't know why that came through. I don't think she has access to my channel, but if she does, just saying. It's no biggie. It's all love on this channel, right? Okay, I'm just going to pick one because these ones are not always very good at jumping, so. Okay. Scythe. Ooh. Jack of Diamonds. That would be the Knight of Pentacles. It's a 10 card, again with this endings and beginnings. 32, a 3 and a 0 break down to a 3. 3 is a divine number of unity. Christianity, Father, Son, Holy Spirit. I like to look at it as feminine, masculine source. October 30th could be significant for someone. Let's read what it says for the Scythe. Scythe. Oh, the Scythe. Okay. Sounds like a creepy one. In the tale of the husband who is to mind the house, a husband harangues his wife. He tells her he can do what she does, but she can't do his job. So the wife goes out to work in the fields, leaving her husband behind to be the housewife. While she accomplishes her task, Her husband has a series of accidents and disasters that include a cow hanging from a rope. The wife has to act swiftly to correct all of his mistakes, but the mishaps that have already occurred can only be remedied. There is no way to rectify the damage done. So pay attention to the imminent danger the scythe points towards. The scythe is swift and sharp. Don't put yourself in harm's way if you can avoid it. Pay attention to nearby cards to determine how to best deal with your misfortunes heading your way. The husband learned his lesson the hard way. You can alleviate the problem simply by staying alert to what lies in front of the scythe. So I guess we can say with this, like I was saying, this kind of goes into what I wanted to talk about in the relationship video. So maybe I will have to do that. Not today, though. Sometimes we let our ego take control. Or we think we can do things better. When you're moving from your soul space, you're a lot more humble. You're also a lot more aware. It takes away the need to be, the need to feel right about things. Okay? In this case, he knows he can just sit back and be himself, and the right person is going to come to him and kiss him. This can also mean, as this card was talking about with him, what did he do? Mock the old woman? She was a witch and turned him into a frog. So that would be an ego move, right? To make fun of people, to mock people, to understand the consequences. We talked about that earlier with consequences and karma. This guy says, when you become self-aware and you start going through this journey, you're going to be paying a lot closer attention to these things because, one, part of your journey is to reflect on your past mistakes. I don't really like saying mistakes, but that's, things that you've done in the past that brought unfavorable results, you're going to reflect on that. And you'll reflect on the things that brought favorable results as well. But you'll start to reflect on it and you will realize, that's my son going to the bathroom. You're going to begin to realize, oh, I need to be a little more cognizant going forward. It could mean thinking before you speak, before you act. I'm always talking about communication. Communication is huge. Learning how to be an effective communicator, which includes being an effective listener. Becoming emotionally intelligent. Thank you, Spirit. That's something I'm working on. Something to do with my communication style. So the scythe, I don't think this is like a bad warning, like death warning. This is more just like, as you're going through your awakening process, you're going to begin to understand that you're going to become more self-aware of the situations around you, and you're going to more easily see the potential obstacles and things ahead, which will give you time to either, if it's something unavoidable, it'll give you time to plan how to handle that situation, or if it's avoidable, how to avoid it, right? So it's just going to make you a little more self-aware, I think, on this process is what I feel is really the true message here. Because if we're tying this into everything we're talking about, it doesn't feel like a doom and gloom. It just feels more like a part of the process of becoming self-aware. Okay. All right, for those of you that identify with being empathic, we'll go ahead and pull an empathic oracle. Everyone has empathy, okay? Because of your soul. Some of us are just a little more in tune with it. Sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes it's an annoying thing. But you learn. And that's why this deck is really great. And I'm going to tell you, it's got like these shiny edges on it. They're so pretty, and the artwork's really nice. Oh gosh, I'm like legit over here going, over the way all my cards are shuffling so nice today. Getting a little excited, I'm not going to lie. To someone who's tactile and likes touch, this is like a dream come true to have all my decks shuffling so nice. Alright. I have one card in this deck that's kind of tweaked though. I've actually considered like writing the owners and being like, can you replace this one card for me? Because it makes it kind of hard to shuffle sometimes. It's like bent. It got bent. One of my kids, I think, bent it. Oh, there we go. Let's see what we got. Chaos 32, which breaks down to a 5. Five represents change. In fact, I think we had that earlier, if I remember right. Let's see, 32. These are also short ones, so they don't take too long to read. There you go. In the seeming instability of the chaos of the moment, there is a beauty to be found in its randomness of energetic freedom. How many times do we hold on to beliefs, people, or situations, all from a perceived fear of letting go? When we do realize, most times because of our energy of control, that we can no longer sustain the inevitable, we soon realize our fears were hindering our ability to see a deeper opportunity to be plucked from the chaos. The universe always provides. So it's not a mantra, but it's like it asks a question here. Am I free to experience what is offered in this moment of chaos? Or am I hindered by using my energy to hold back the chaos, which holds all the parts of its wild and energetic abandon? Does the fear of being wild and unfettered cause me to retract into a colorless state? So here we're talking about this idea that it's scary to let go. Fear is not knowing what's on the other side. And so we hold on to things because we're afraid. We've gotten comfortable, even if it's not healthy, even if it's toxic, even if it's dangerous. We've gotten comfortable with holding on to that. And the idea of letting that go without knowing what's on the other side is what keeps us holding on. So this is saying, can you let go of that fear? Do you feel safe? And this really has to go down into your true core beliefs. A lot of Christians struggle with this. Christians struggle with their own belief system when it comes to fear. Because fear comes from an ego mind. Fear comes from your brain trying to process and figure things out instead of you saying, even though I don't understand, even though I don't know what's going to happen, my internal belief is that I can trust the process. I can trust that what's meant for me will be for me. I can trust if I let this thing go, this person go, that no matter what happens is what's meant to happen. That may mean, if we're talking about people, that there's going to be a grieving process if you have to let someone go. Friendship, relationship, someone that's already passed on physically. Yes, you're going to go through a grieving process. That is natural, normal. But you got to be willing to let go and trust that everything's going to be okay on the other side of that once you get through that process. Okay? And I wanted to show you what was on the bottom of the deck. We're not going to read it, but I feel like when you're able to get through this, when you choose to allow the chaos instead of looking at it as a bad thing, and choose to embrace it as just a part of the human experience, and trust and believe that you will move through the chaos and come out the other side into that peace. We had a card about that earlier. You're in that hero energy. And 29 breaks down to 11, and 11 is divine alignment. Again, trusting the divine. Trusting that whatever comes through your life is temporary. I'm seeing the storm card in my mind's eye, which is in the energy oracle. It's just trusting that everything has a season and everything passes. And I'm also seeing the Wheel of Fortune in my mind's eye. Not the show Wheel of Fortune. Although I had an opportunity to go on that once. My mom and I had the opportunity to go on that show. She blew it for us because she answered all the puzzles correct. And I said, Mom, you have to get some of them wrong, otherwise they won't let you on. But her ego wouldn't let her get any wrong. She's like, no, yeah. We were too good to go on Wheel of Fortune. It was a fun experience. So we're going to do Energy Oracle. Ta-da! And then we'll close it out with some tarot and then a single message on this other card here. Close it out. Holy Spirit, what does our beautiful and wonderful collective need here? Uh-oh. I finally got some resistance here. Uh-oh. Someone tuning in has got some resistance. Okay, let's see what that's all about. First time in this whole reading. All right. Holy Spirit, what do we got here? Whoa. Ah! Oh, that's funny. Look at this. Victory. Hold on. Just want to show you guys something. If I can find it. Please hold. See the wreaths? And this is an 11 and this is a 10. 28 breaks down to a 10. 10, 11. 10 is endings and beginnings. 11 is divine alignment. You get to be the hero of your story. You get to be the hero of your story. They'll say the world doesn't revolve around you, but that's not true. Because while you're in this life, you are the star of your creation. And you get to be the hero, if you choose to be. You can be the victim. If you're not ready to be the hero, you'll be the victim. And everyone goes through that until they have their ego death, until they have their awakening, and they realize how powerful they are as a divine being, and they step into this, go from that 9 to the 10 to the 11. What is 11? 11 is the other side of fear. The hero. What does the hero do? The hero rushes in to danger. The hero is brave. Doesn't mean he's not afraid. It just means he's got courage and bravery. And where does he pull that from? Inside. Because the hero knows, I've got to at least try. And you can keep trying and keep trying and keep trying until you reach that victory. Because the only way you can fail at your story in life is if you give up. You can't blame that on anybody, because once you become self-aware in this process, once you start a spiritual awakening, once you become self-aware, you can no longer, in fact, I think one of the other cards said that, you can no longer blame, you can no longer be a victim. Because once you become self-aware, once you start this journey, it's all on you. That's a lot. I know that's heavy. I just felt like a ooh on my shoulders when I said that. But the good news is, as long as you keep pushing through, keep pushing through the fear, false expectations appearing real. It's not even real. Fear is an illusion designed to keep you stuck from reaching your fullest potential. I'm going to read the card for it because I want to see what the book says. You might resonate with the book. But I just felt that that was a really... And what is that crown? You know, Jesus wore a crown of thorns. That was his victory. He said, you may pierce me. You may do all these things to me, but I have the ultimate victory. Okay. 28. These are also short, so. This card shows a beautiful spirit holding a golden victory wreath in acknowledgement of your achievement. Success is on its way, and you have a sense of pride in what you've worked to accomplish. The achievement may be a great outer success, or it may be a deep inner change that you've been exerting a lot of effort toward. Enjoy this sense of accomplishment, but be careful not to rest upon your laurels. People expect outer triumph to bring great changes, but often there may still be inner work to do. Let yourself be open to victory on every level now. Every level. The affirmation is, I'm achieving great things within myself and in the world. I see myself as a success in many wonderful ways even now. Say it one more time. I'm achieving great things within myself and in the world. I see myself as a success in many wonderful ways even now. And what is success? Let's talk about that for a second. Because in my opinion, at least in Western culture, okay, I can only ever speak from that perspective, we view success as once you reach something. Once you have the job, once you have the degree, once you have the car, once you have the girl or the guy, once you have something. But success, if you look at it from the perspective of we only have the current moment. The past has already happened, the future hasn't happened yet. Where we live consciously is in the present moment. Which means, are you a failure because you haven't got that thing yet? Or are you a success? Can you be a success every day? When you get up and let's say you're fighting emotional stuff and you choose to get up and go about your day. That's a success. When you choose to fight that hard thing that you're dealing with, that's success. When you do that hard thing that you're dealing with, I don't know if I just said that, that's success. When you overcome something you've been struggling with, that's success. When you check mark something on your task list, that's success. For me, this is one for me. When you bypass having the energy drink and drink water instead, that's success. Every choice you make can be a success if you frame it that way in your mind. And the great thing about this, okay, on a scientific level, is you're programming your mind for success when you begin to look at things as being a success instead of waiting until you accomplish something in order to be successful. For example, I'm working on my degree. It's taking me forever, okay? But I haven't quit. That means I'm achieving success. Every time I finish a class or I finish a homework assignment, that's success. Okay? If you're sticking to an exercise routine, every time you decide to do it, that's success. Now, don't be hard on yourself, okay? If you misstep, if you fall back, that doesn't mean you're a failure, okay? Life happens. Sometimes we're too tired. Sometimes stuff is happening in our life. It's taking our attention away. Life is not about being perfect and straight line and doing it perfect all the way through. That would be boring. We're here to experience life. So give yourself permission to mess up every now and then. Don't give yourself permission to fail. And it's really easy not to fail because all you have to do is not give up. Even if you have to take a break, even if you have to say, you know what, I am working on this thing. I haven't finished it yet. I need a break. 2 weeks. I need a break. You're listening to your body. You're listening to your mental health. You're taking that break that you need. You're getting recharged. You start back up. Guess what? You're a success because you didn't give up. Okay? You're the hero of your story. Be victorious. Give yourself permission to wear the wreath. You deserve it. All right, so we're going to close out with some regular tarot. And this is just the gilded tarot deck. This poor thing is gone. I've had to wrap it in tape because it's just falling apart. It's my most used deck, obviously. All right. I am sweaty balls here, dude. Oh, this bathroom is like terrible ventilation, even with the window open. It's like, I don't get a cross breeze in my house. I don't get a lot of sunlight and I don't get a lot of cross breeze, but I do have a lot of shade. I have really beautiful tall pine trees in my house, so. All right, Holy Spirit, let's close this out. Do we have any final messages for our lovely viewers today? Carney? I just heard the name. Never heard that one before. Carney? Like C-A-R-N-Y is what they're showing me. Don't know who that's going to be for. Maybe like a nickname. Whoa. Okay, hold on. I just had an explosion of cards all over the floor. Okay, I think we're going to just have to pick them because doing jumpers right now is dangerous. So we'll just... I can't pick wrong. That's not how tarot works. You can't pick wrong. Okay, so we're going to do 3. Just 1. Oh, that's a good one. 2. Okay. Eagles may be significant for someone as a... So, these are the 3 cards we got. Ace of Wands, Knight of Swords, and King of Cups. So this might be a message for someone specific. Let me get a read on this real quick. Yeah, this is going to be a specific message. Okay. I just heard the name Daniel. That came through right as I was about to say what I was about to say. This is definitely a male. I'm definitely getting masculine male energy, like actual male gender. I'm hearing 20s to 30s. Probably more on the 30s side. I don't usually get age ranges. That's weird. I do feel this is someone that comes off as very mature for their age. Okay, I'm getting 2 stories. This is splitting into 2 stories. Hold on. Okay. Thank you, Spirit. So the reason I was hearing 20s to 30s, okay, so there is a version of this that is the younger version. I'm hearing young adult. And what I am hearing from this one, this is someone that has been hiding their sexuality. Sorry, guys, but when it comes through, I have to read it. There is this is a desire to speak their truth about their sexuality. They've been they have, as you can see, he's got 1 foot in, 1 foot out of the water. But here he's wearing a mask. So this is like, I want to speak my truth. I'm not sure if I should. There's that could have been why we were getting messages about fear earlier. Because I'm seeing Spirit's drawing me to the eagle. So if you notice in this card, he comes right up to this edge of a cliff. Okay. This almost feels like it's like an urgency behind this, like speak now or forever hold your peace. There's a hesitation, but I feel like the eagle is coming at the spirit animal of the eagle is saying, I can see ahead and I can tell you what's ahead is positive because this is new passionate beginnings. Okay. This is, you can trust. They're saying it's not that it's going to be easy. And I think that's part of the fear is that it'll be hard to come out. And they're recognizing that, yes, as a truth. Yes. Okay. Hold on. Yeah, King of Wands, 2 kings. You might already have a partner that you've been hiding just because at the bottom of the deck is the moon. So, if we want to call out signs, I don't normally do it. You have water signs and fire signs. So, I just heard the name Andy come through. Yeah, that's just one message, okay? So that's for one person who's going to probably randomly tune in. The other message I'm hearing here, and this is for, I feel like, an older male. I'm being called to pull one more. Hold on. 7 of Cups. This is some confusion around love. This is a male who is Spirit. He's holding a cup. This is why I'm laughing, because he's got the answer in his hands. Okay. He's confused about love. He's confused. Okay. And this is a masculine who doesn't quite understand what love is. And it's funny to me, the reason I'm laughing and Spirit is pointing out to me is because he literally is holding the cup in his hands. See, internally, that's what I was saying earlier in the reading. We have the truth internally, but when we're always seeking outwardly, look at all the things in the cups. You know, beauty, all the things that represent like physical things and stuff, and we're looking for all this love in all these places when in reality it's within us. And I feel like this masculine is about to come to... The energy I'm getting off this is weird. That's why I keep giggling, because I've never really picked this up before off this card. It's, okay, I've got to explain this because it's really kind of cracking me up. So the image I'm getting is this masculine's galloping along with his mask on, thinking he's got this sword of truth, and then all of a sudden the divine just like puts this like block in front of him. It's like, no, you're looking for love, but you have it. And here, even here, he's holding the truth. He's holding the sword of truth. The vibe off this is so funny to me because it's almost like, it's a very playful vibe. I've never gotten that off this card. That's why I'm kind of funny. I'm like thinking it's funny. It's got a lot of blue and purple in this card, which is your third eye and crown chakra and throat chakra. So I feel like as this masculine comes into a spiritual awakening process, this part of his chakra system is going to light up and he's going to be like, oh, I get it now. And that's when this new beginning is going to begin for him. It could be he attracts in a partner. It could be that this could also represent like a passion project, like something literally will, I'm hearing the term like fall in his lap, something like something that will, I'm hearing the term like awaken his heart chakra. This is something, I feel like this energy is a really like, the energy coming off of this person is a good person. This is a good guy. Like, he's a good guy, but I feel like this is someone who's been very disconnected from his emotions because he was confused where love was coming from. And so as he realizes, it's almost like I'm picturing this moment where he's sipping his cup of love and then he goes, huh, I'll be damned. Like an epiphany moment that he's had the cup all along. And so as that happens, I feel like it's going to shift his energy and he's going to be able to start seeing things from that higher perspective with that eagle. And as he does that, like, I feel like the universe is going to drop something into his lap, whether it be a person or a project or something that's going to get his soul fired up. And it's going to be like a new chapter for this person. This is going to be a new beginning. You know, Spirit's going to build the bridge right in front of him, almost like magic. A bridge is going to appear, and he's going to take that helmet off because he's been wearing this mask, right? And he's going to take this helmet off and he's going to cross that bridge and he's going to go into this new chapter that's going to be very exciting, very passionate. I'm hearing fun. What's on that card? Yeah, there's a dragon on the staff here. I can't look up what that means right now because of my phone, but if this is resonating for you, you might look up the spiritual meaning of dragon because that might have some relevance for you as well. So, yeah, so we had two different stories come out with that, and that was obviously very specific to two different people. So, I mean, it could apply to more than one. I don't know. So we're going to close this out with one message from here. These are just single card messages, nothing to read other than what's on the, So just so you can kind of get a glance. They're little message cards. And I like to close my readings out with these because they're lighthearted and it's just kind of a fun way to close out the reading. And while I'm shuffling these, I really hope that you have found the messages helpful and that they've resonated for those that they needed to resonate for. And as always, if you want to share in the comments, feel free. Some people get shy to do that, but that's okay. No one's going to force you to do that, But as always, take everything into prayer and consideration and discernment. I have the laborious task of time-stamping this sucker. I have to sit and listen to myself to time-stamp these things. I hate that part, but it's alright. It makes it easier on everyone else. Okay, let's pick a message for our beautiful collective. Whoa! Gosh, dang it. These ones want to jump right out. Let's see. Who's it going to be? What's it going to be? Attack, pain, fear, judgment, and any form of separation are merely calls for help. I'm going to pick one more to go with that. That's your soul. That's your soul calling out. That's what we've been talking about. The presence of love will always cast out fear. That's why I felt led to pull a second. Spirit never misleads me. Never misleads me. The presence of love. So how do we get rid of the pain and the judgment and the fear? We tune into love. Love is always the answer. If you're ever in doubt, love is always the answer. Thank you all for joining me. Have a wonderful day. Namaste.